everyone, Jackie with Full Moon Loon Designs, and this video was kind of an afterthought after this last project that I worked on. So I've got the reveal at the beginning of the video here, but then I've got several still shots and a couple other video clips showing how I made it. So here is the final piece. It went through a few firings in a couple of different directions. My initial stack excuse me, was 4 pieces of clear 3.5 inch by 4.5 inch kind of rectangles with the corners nipped, and then 1 layer on top of that of white, and then all my design elements, including some silver foil, which that is this weirder hue of green that you see in here. But now that it's mixed with other colors, it's not really a huge thing. But that first piece came out pretty pink. And it was pretty, but I just wanted to do something different with it. So I ended up adding more to it, a lot of clear, coarse Frit's powder, and then more Frit using the Mingle, which was this Frit from Val, and a little bit of Princess White in there. That's what the white flecks are that you see here and there. Added that, let that spread. Oh, and I put it on a round white circle. Now, the piece was not round when I put it on there. Again, I'll have pictures at the end of this video, or at the beginning. I don't know how I'm going to piece this together yet. But I did set it on a round. I think I said something wrong in an earlier video, possibly, or posted incorrectly. It wasn't a 7-inch circle. It was a 7 3/4 inch circle, looking at the measurements on my circle cutter. So anyway, it was an oval piece, but I put more Frit on the sides that I wanted to kind of move out, and it came out pretty round. I've done no cold working before I ended up slumping it. So it did spread, but when I did that second firing and let it spread, after that I ended up putting it face down, color side down, onto the texture mold. And then that white backing, I decided to add red violet to it. So that's a really pretty color. It's, in my light, looking at it directly, it looks more pinkish violet. On the camera, I can see it looks more bluish violet. But either way, it looks good, I think. But it definitely picked up texture from the texture mold. It's not perfectly round. If I take and measure this, it measures... We'll start here. It measures 8.5 inches there, but if I turn it, this is where I can see it's a little off. It's about 8 1/4 to 8 3/8. Let's see, this looks a little bit narrower. Down to about 8 1/4. So it varies a little bit. It's a little bit wonky, but it's pretty evenly slumped. Let's see if I can get this into camera range. It's about 1 3/4 inch tall. And that's pretty consistent as I turn this. So I didn't get, really tall on one side or short on the other. It's a little bit heavy because it's multiple layers, but I just made sure I had a nice long anneal and slow cool down. I'll let it sit for a few days just to make sure nothing surprising happens to it, because sometimes, like with the high temps, this one wasn't quite like some projects. This one I only went to 1525 for my flow temperature, so it wasn't massively high. It was hot, but it seems to be looking good. I do like the texture. It feels a little weird. You wouldn't want to use it for food. I am going to test it for lead safety, but I probably didn't have enough clear on it to make it lead safe or food safe, but also just being textured, you wouldn't really want to get food in between all the little nooks and crannies. Obviously it would wash out well, but I just think it would make a very pretty decorative dish. But yeah, I've talked enough. I just wanted to show this off. I know some people have probably been waiting to see it. But this was the one that started out just as the pink flow. I'll put all the pictures and some process photos together and string this all together in one video. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and I hope you're having a great week, and I would love to see or hear, see pictures if you can post, and hear what you're working on. I was gonna just dust the back with either clear powder or white powder just to shine it up a bit, since this is actually going in with the pretty side down to pick up the texture. I realize that's probably gonna turn the finish a little more matte than glossy, and that's okay. On the thin fire, it should still look pretty good. You know, I do it with Lumi all the time, but Lumi's a little different. But anyway, I decided I didn't have to keep the back white. I got out the red violet powder, gave it a nice even sifting all around. The green you see on the thin fire, that's just where I rubbed chalk so that I could see the center of the mold, that design that seemed to be right in the center. And then how I checked for making sure I had it centered, really high tech here. I took a little kiln block and I marked with a Sharpie, or not a Sharpie, but one of my ink saws. And then I basically just went all the way around to make sure it was centered, and it is. So this is gonna go in. I'm gonna bring it up well, I'll probably bring it up 200 an hour. I think it should be okay. And then I'm going to bring it up to a full fuse temp to pick up that texture. I should only need to go to about 1400, 1425 at the most. And then I'll do probably at least 2 hour anneal. That's what I had on the last couple firings. And we'll see what it looks like when it comes out from the texture mold. You know, this started out as an experiment, and it's still an experiment. It's just in its third stage. Just checking the level on this. I've already checked the shelf. Just trying to make sure I'm on the glass only and not on the mold. It's looking pretty good. So this is a bottomless mold set up on some thin fire. Yes, that is a little bit bigger piece than I needed, but I would just end up with little scraps off the edges anyway. So yeah, this one's going into Slump. So hopefully this time tomorrow we might be able to see it.